at stage 11, paragraph
Mhm.
page 1013. Okay, here we go. And our
Okay.
last headword was survey, new word type of lesson.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so let's start with our revision. Ready?
Okay. Yes.
Here we go. When we're writing an application letter or email to someone called David Jones, for example, how should we start the letter? Dear David Jones, or Dear Mr. Jones. When we are writing an application letter or email to someone called David Jones, for example, how should we start the letter? Dear David Jones, or Dear Mr. Jones. When we are writing
When we are
an
writing
application
an
letter
application
or
letter
email
or email
to someone called
to someone
David
called
Jones, for
Jones,
example,
for
we should
example,
start the
we
letter
should start a letter
with Dear Mr.
with
Jones.
Mr. Jones.
Very good. How can we start the letter if we don't know the name of the person? How can we start the letter if we don't know the name of the person? If we don't know
We don't know
the name of the person,
the name of the
we
person.
can start the
We
letter
can start a
with
letter,
Dear Sir
dear sir
or Madam.
or madam.
Well, what's the first piece of information we should put in a cover letter? What's the first piece of information we should put in a cover letter? The first piece
The
of
first piece
information
of information
we should put in
we
the
should
cover
put
letter
in the cover letter
is why we're writing.
is why we are writing.
Give me some examples. Give me some examples, please. I am writing to
I'm
apply
writing apply
for the position of.
for the position of.
I am writing to
I'm
inquire
writing
whether
require
you have any
whether you have
vacancies.
vacancies.
Very good. What should we say when in the introduction paragraph? What else should we say in the introduction paragraph? In the introduction
In the
paragraph,
introduction paragraph,
we should also say
we should also say
where and when
where and when
we saw the advert
the adverb
for the position, if
for the position
appropriate.
were appropriate.
Very good. In the main paragraph of the letter, how can we persuade the reader to consider our application? In the main paragraph of the letter, how can we persuade the reader to consider our application? In the main paragraph
In the main
of the
paragraph
letter,
of the
we
letter,
can persuade
we
the
can
reader
persuade
to
the reader
consider
to
our
consider
application
our
by
application
highlighting
by
and
highlighting
summarizing
and
any
summarizing
particularly
any particularly
relevant experience
relevant
and
experience
skills from
and
our
skills
CV,
from our
and
CV,
by showing
and by
enthusiasm,
showing
enthusiasm,
enthusiasm,
very good, one more, enthusiasm
enthusiasm
for the company
for the
and
company
job.
and job.
Very good. What else can we do? What else can we do? We can mention
We can
any
mention
relevant abilities
any relevant
and
abilities
personal qualities
and
we
personal
have.
qualities we have.
Very good. How should we conclude the letter? How should we conclude the letter? We should conclude
We
the
should
letter
conclude the
by
letter
thanking the company
by thanking the company
for considering
for
our
considering
application
our
and
application
mentioning our
and mentioning
availability
our availability
for interview.
for interview.
Very good. If we've used a name at the first start of the letter, how should we finish it? If we've used a name at the start of the letter, how should we finish it? If we've used,
If we use
well, if we've used,
if if we use
very good, a name at the
a
start
name
of the letter,
at the start of the
we
letter,
should finish it
we should finish it
with yours sincerely.
with yours sincerely.
And how should we finish if we haven't used a name at the start? And how should we finish if we haven't used a name at the start? If we haven't used
If we haven't used
a name at the start,
a name at the start,
we should finish with
we could finish with
yours faithfully.
for
Yours
safely.
faithfully. Very good. Okay.
But
One more. Yours faithfully.
yours quick, yours
Faithfully.
quick, gratefully,
Like faith.
faithfully,
Faithfully.
faithfully.
Very good. One more. If we haven't used
If we haven't
a
used
name at the start,
a name at the
we
start,
should finish with
we should finish with
yours faithfully.
yours faithfully.
Very good. Okay. Do you agree that mobile phone use on trains should be restricted to a limited number of coaches? Do you agree that mobile phone use on trains should be restricted to a limited number of coaches? Yes or no?
Yes,
I agree that
I agree that
mobile phone
mobile
use
phone
on
used
trains
on
should be
trains
restricted
will be
to
restricted
a limited number
to a limited
of
number
coaches.
of coaches.
Where and if such regulation were established, do you think most people would comply with it? And if such a regulation were established, do you think most people would comply with it? Yes or no?
Yes,
If such a
if
regulation
such a
were
regulation
established,
were
I
established,
think most people
I think most
would
people
comply with it.
would comply with it.
Very good. When do people usually frown? When do people usually frown? People usually
People
frown
usually
when
frown
they feel annoyed,
when they feel annoyed,
when they're confused,
when they're confused,
or when they're
or when they're
concentrating hard.
concentrating hard.
Very good. Give me an example of the expression out of the question. Give me an example of the expression out of the question, please. I'm sorry.
I'm
You
sorry.
can't borrow my
You
car.
can't borrow my
It's
car.
totally out
It's
of the
totally
question.
out of the
You've
question.
had too many
You had
accidents.
too many accidents.
Very good. If you'd finished using a barbecue but the fire was still glowing, would you put it out with water, for example, or wait for it to go out on its own? If you've finished using a barbecue but the fire was still glowing, would you put it out with water, for example, or wait for it to go out on its own? If I'd finished
If I'd finished
using a barbecue
using a barbecue,
but the fire was
but the
still
fire
glowing,
was still glowing,
I'd
I'd put
put it
it
out with water.
out with water.
Very good. Okay. If a boxer manages to knock his opponent down easily in both the first and second round, can he reasonably expect to be able to knock him out fairly soon after? If a boxer manages to knock his opponent down easily in both the first and second round, can he reasonably expect to be able to knock him out fairly soon after? Yes. If a
Yes,
boxer
if a
manages
boxer manages
to knock his
to
opponent
knock
down
his opponent down
easily in both
easily in both
the first and second
the
round,
first and second
he
round,
can reasonably
he can reasonably
expect to be able
expect to be
to
able
knock him out
to knock him out
fairly soon after.
very soon after.
Very good. What do we mean by a knockout competition? What do we mean by a knockout competition? By a knockout
By a
competition.
knockdown
Com-
competition.
by a knockout
No, by a knockout
competition,
competition,
we mean one
we
that
mean
consists
one that
of
consists
different rounds
of the different
and
round
where only
and where of
only the winner
oh, where of he
only
where only
the winner of each
the
match
winner of each match
get goes through
goes through
the next round.
the next round.
Very good. One more. By a knockout
Okay. By a
competition,
knockout competition,
we mean one
we
that
mean
consists
one that
of
consists
different rounds
of different rounds
and where only
and where
the
only
winner of
the
each
winner
match
of each match
goes through
goes
to the
through
next round.
to the next round.
Very good. Name me some types of vehicles. Name me some types of vehicles, please. Some types
Some
of
types
vehicles
of
are
vehicles
cars,
are cars,
vans,
vans,
lorries,
lorries,
motorbikes,
motorbikes,
horse-drawn carts,
or
etc.
strong carts, etc.
Very good. Why do some lorries have long vehicle written on the rear ends? Why do some lorries have long vehicle written on the rear ends? Some lorries
Some
have
lorries
long vehicle
have long vehicles
written on the rear
written
ends
on the rear ends
to indicate to the
to
vehicles
indicate to the vehicle
coming behind
coming behind
that it will be difficult
that it will be bit difficult
to overtake.
to overtake.
Very good. Okay. Next. Would you say learning to cook was merely a matter of following recipes? Would you say that learning to cook was merely a matter of following recipes? Yes or no? Would you
Um,
say that learning to
yes.
cook? Okay. Yes, I'd say
Yes, I'd say
learning to cook
learning to cook
was merely a matter
was merely a matter
of following recipes.
of following recipes.
Very good. Okay, next. How do we spell the word principle in the following sentence? In the principal melody in this piece of music is known all around the world. How do we spell the word principle in the following sentence? The principal melody in this piece of music is known all around the world.
P R I N C I
Principal.
P P
P-A-L.
P A L
Very good. Principal. Okay, next. How
principal.
do we spell the word principle in this following sentence? My basic principle in life is to treat everybody with respect. How do we spell the word principle in the following sentence? My basic principle in life is to treat everybody with respect. P-R-I-N
P R I N
C-I-P-L-E.
C I P L A.
Very good. Okay, next. What do we call a woman and man on their wedding day? What do we call a man and woman on their wedding day? We call a woman
We call a
and a
woman
man
and a man
on their wedding day
on their wedding
the
day
bride and groom.
the bride and groom.
Very good. Name some instrument that we commonly hear in an orchestra. Name some instrument that we commonly hear in an orchestra, please. Some instruments
Some
that
instruments
we commonly
that
hear. Commonly
we
hear
commonly hear
in an orchestra
in an orchestra
are violin,
are violin,
trumpet,
trumpet,
flute,
flute,
etc.
etc.
Very good. Make a sentence with the words on behalf of. Make a sentence with the words on behalf of, please. Steve thanked the
Steve
manager
thinks the
on
manager
behalf of all the
on behalf
players
of all the
in the
players
team.
in the team.
Very good. What do we mean by a site? What do we mean by a site? By a site,
By a
we
site,
mean the place
we mean the
where
place
something was,
where something was,
is, or will be.
is, or
Will
is,
be.
or will be,
Where is or will be.
is or will be.
Very good. Do some large office buildings have restaurants on site? Do some large offices buildings have restaurants on site? Yes, some large
Yes, some
office
large
buildings
office
have
buildings
restaurants on
have
site.
restaurants on site.
Wait, what else is the word site used to refer to? What else is the word site used to refer to? The word site
The word
is
site
also used
is also
to
used
refer to
to
a
refer
website.
to a website.
Very good. Okay, when people find something hilarious, what do they do? When people find something hilarious, what do they do? When people find
When people
some,
find
when people find
when people find
something hilarious,
something
they
hilarious,
burst out laughing.
they burst out laughing.
They burst out laughing.
They burst out laughing.
Very good. Okay, what's a survey? What's a survey? A survey
A
is
survey
a form of
is a
research
form of a
that
research
involves
that involves
asking many people questions
asking many people questions
in order to
in
discover
order to discover
facts or opinions.
acts or opinions,
Facts or opinions.
facts,
Or
facts
opinions.
or opinions.
Very good. Why is it crucial for companies to carry out customer surveys? Why is it crucial for companies to carry out customer surveys? It's crucial
It's crucial
for companies
for
to
companies
carry out
to
customer
carry out
surveys
customer
as
service
it provides them
as it provides them
with important
with
information
important
for
information
new or
for
existing
new or
projects.
existing projects,
Very good, such as the development
such as the
of
development
products and
of
services.
products and services.
Very good. Okay, so That's the end of our revision, but let's move
Uh,
on to word pool revision exercise. Okay, have you done this? Please
okay.
get you have your book,
Ah, sorry. I have only ebook.
ebook.
I can't see
The
the
questions. The,
the
would you like
question.
to
Yes.
continue, or would you like me to put it on the chat box? Continue.
Continue.
Okay, very good. Okay, so now let's have new word.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's have common verb suffixes.
Common verb suffix.
Very good.
Suffixes.
Suffixes. Suffixes means
Suffixes.
letters that you put at the end of the word to make a new word. Okay,
Mhm.
listen. Some common suffixes we use from a verb to use to form verbs are, so that we can make verbs are, en, ify,
Mhm.
ize, sometimes spelled as ise, and
Mhm.
ate. For
Mhm.
example, from the word hard, that's a noun, adjective, we can make the verb harden. From the word simple, we can make the verb simplify. From the word standard, we can make the verb standardize. And from the word active, we can make the verb activate. Some
Mhm.
other examples are soften, ripen, identify, notify, minimize, computerize, alternate, and regulate. Okay, let's practice. Make a sentence containing a verb with a suffix en. Make some sentences containing a verb with a suffix en, please. She uses
He uses
a special cream
a special
to
cream
soften her skin.
to soften
Her
our
skin.
skin.
When a
Her,
banana,
for the skin. Banana.
one more. She uses
She
a
uses
special cream
a special
to
cream
soften her skin.
to soften her skin.
Very good. Okay. Okay. Make a sentence containing a verb with a suffix ify. Make a sentence containing a verb with a suffix ify, please. It was easy
It was easy
for the police
for the police
to identify him
to identify
as
him
the man they were
as the
searching
man
for.
they were searching for.
I have to notify
I have to not
my
notify
bank
my bank
that my address
that my
has
address
changed.
has changed
Make it make sentences containing a verb with a suffix ize. Make sentences containing a verb with a suffix ize, please, by making this
by making
a
this
no smoking area.
a no smoking area.
We can minimize
We can
the risk
minimize
of fire.
the risk of fire.
When the office
When
computerized,
the office
was computerized,
was computerized,
several members
several
of
members
the staff
of the staff
lost their jobs.
lost their jobs.
Very good. Okay, make sentences containing a verb with a suffix ate. Make sentences containing a verb with a suffix ate, please. He owns two
He
cars
owns two cars
and alternates
and
between them.
alternate between them.
The government should
The
regulate
government should
this
regulate
industry more
this
carefully.
industry more carefully.
Very good. Okay. Next, repeat. Initial.
Initial,
Initially.
initially,
Amaze.
amaze,
Amazing.
amazing.
Very good. Okay, listen. The word initial can be a noun and an adjective. As a noun, initial means the first letters of each of a person's name. For example, my initials are AR. As an adjective, initial means occurring at the beginning of something or first. So initial. For example, my initial reaction was to say no, but I eventually agreed to help. Initially is an adverb of initial. It means at the beginning. For example, initially, I don't like my new flatmate, but now I get on well with her. Amaze is a verb. To amaze means to surprise and to fill someone with wonder. For example, the average student's initial reaction to the Callan method is to be amazed by the speed of the lesson. Amazing is an adjective. It means causing great surprise or wonder. For example, I think the horse is the most amazing animal in the world. Okay, let's practice. What are your initials? What are your initials? My initials are
My initial
F
uh, FA.
FA. Very good. What's the average student's initial reaction to the Callan method? What's the average student's initial reaction to the Callan method? The average student's
The average
initial
student's
reaction
initial
to the
reaction
Callan method
to the Callan method
is to be amazed
is to be
by the
amazed
speed of the lesson.
by the
Of
speed
the lesson.
of the lesson.
Very good. Give me an example of the word initially. Give me an example of the word initially, please. Initially, I didn't
Initially,
like my
I
new
didn't like
flatmate,
my new
but
flatmate,
now
but
I
now
get on well with
I get
her.
on well with her.
Very good. Which do you think is the most amazing animal in the world? Which do you think is the most amazing animal in the world? I think
I think the
is the
elephant
most
is the most
amazing animal in the world.
amazing animal in the world.
Very good. Okay, so now let's move on to reading.
Okay.
Okay, so our reading is at stage 10, paragraph page 851.
Mm,
Okay, and last headword was Q. Okay, please start at page 852 aloud.
eh, a moment.
First word, first headword,
And
852.